Hi, so I'm going to talk to you about our itinerary for New York City. If you don't know, I love planning trips. It's actually my favorite part. Is planning and figuring out where we're going to go. And I always set an itinerary. So I figured, you can kind of see in the videos, what we do, but I figure I'd go over the itinerary with you and some tips for traveling to New York City. The big thing in New York City is it's difficult to have a car. Um, basically parking is very expensive. Most hotels charge a lot per day for parking. I would suggest either flying in or taking a train in or bus. We are about, like 3.5 hours away. So for us, it was really easy to take a train in. Amtrak was not very expensive and it saved us on the parking costs and having to deal with driving in the city, which is a pain in the neck. Um, so I definitely recommend that. We took the train into Penn Station, and then we're able to walk to our hotel. We stayed at the DoubleTree in Times Square area, which is really in the heart of New York City, near Times Square. I think this is a convenient location to stay in and really near most of your tourist activities. Anything it's not near, you can either walk or take the subway. Definitely take the subway if you can. It's a great method of transportation. It's not too expensive. You can just use your credit card to tap onto the subway instead of having to deal with buying tickets or getting a card. And this is just something you can do when walking in the city. Now, it does take a while to catch trains. So anything, we took the subway only if it was like more than a 20-minute walk away. If you can walk like 20 minutes, that's preferable. You probably about the same amount of time, to use the subway. Another tip for New York City is just, there's a lot of traffic, so be careful when crossing the streets. The cabs and different traffic will not stop for you. So just, be careful. To go over our itinerary, the first day we were there started with a tour of the Empire State Building. We walked there. We went to the up to the Empire State Building and did a went to their viewing deck and got to see the amazing views from outside. The only thing that's missing in this iconic skyline view is the Empire State Building itself. So it's also good to go to another observation deck so that you can actually see the Empire State Building as part of the view. We also did the Empire State at 10 a.m. so as to avoid waiting in a line as the day got longer. I think it's best to start your morning unless you want to do a sunset view of the Empire State Building. We actually first walked near our hotel. There was a Best Bagel and Coffee shop. These bagels were delicious. You have to start your morning with a New York City bagel if you're in New York. The other thing, once we left the Empire State Building, we went to Starbucks Reserve. This is like a fancy Starbucks shop. They actually have one in the Empire State Building. And the coffee there, it's more expensive. They use a special blend, but this was some of the best coffee I've ever had. So if you like Starbucks, I definitely recommend going to the Starbucks Reserve. Next, we walked to the Harry Potter store. It was about an 11-minute walk from the Empire State Building. We passed the Flatiron Building along the way, which is really just neat building to see on the way it's situated. And we were in the Harry Potter store for a while. They have an app that you can download that you can scan different things around the store and you get a free little pin. And it's just neat to look at. The amount of, if you're a Harry Potter fan, this store is a must. If you're in New York City, they have just the amount of things they have set up, the merchandise. It was just truly amazing. And we had a fun time there. Once we got to Times Square, we went to Madame Tussauds, which is a wax museum. They have them all over the place. We thought this would be something really fun for the kids to do. We ended up, even though it's touristy, we had a blast. We took pictures with all the different wax figures. They have, tons of different celebrity icons. They've got Marvel figures. It was just a really fun time. And they also have a Marvel 4D movie as well there. That's part of your ticket admission. We then took stop at Carlos Bake Shop, and then we decided to get an early dinner. We were going to Ellen Starless Diner for dinner, which is a neat restaurant where the waitresses sing, and the waiters and waiters sing Broadway show tunes while you're eating. And it's more of a diner type food, so you're not going here really for the food, but for the atmosphere. Um, but this place gets super busy and they don't take reservations. So I definitely recommend you get there early. We actually ended up going around 3 since we skipped lunch, and this we got right in. So, the earlier or later you can go, better. In the evening, we decided to go to Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway. This was something like one of the main reasons we were going to New York. It's something we were really excited to do, and the show was amazing. If you're a Harry Potter fan, something you definitely must see when you're in New York. You can use this time to go to any Broadway show that you desire. You can also do that in any of the other evenings as well. If you are, not very picky on what show you go to, you can line up at a kiosk in Times Square, and they have them some other places to get discount tickets in the morning before the show starts. On day 2 in New York City, we decided to go to the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. We actually went at 9 a.m., which is the first boat out. This is something I definitely recommend getting advance tickets. Whatever. And we decided to go on the pedestal access, which you're not going all the way up to the crown, but you're kind of going in the middle. And that, definitely you need to book that in months in advance. Even if you want crown access, at least 6 months in advance. Now, this is something, the pedestal access, I actually think I'd rather be in the ground because you can't see the full Statue of Liberty. You can see the views of the city and, but not the statue itself. So I don't know if this is really a must do. It's something I really wanted to do. I don't know if it's really worth it. And maybe once in your lifetime. Then we took the ferry over to Staten Island, or to Ellis Island, sorry, and then went back to Battery Park. So after we got back to Battery Park, we walked towards the financial district. We had lunch at Joe's Pizza, which is really good. They have them in Times Square as well. And we had that another day. It's just really good pizza. One of the New York pizzas you should try. And then we walked over to see the Oculus, and then walked to the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. If you want to go in the museum, you need to book advance reservations. It's heart-wrenching, but also reminds you of what happened. It's a fantastic memory of all those that lost their lives on 9/11, and I definitely recommend you go see this. The only thing is that if you have kids under 10, you might not want to bring them into some of the more horrific exhibits. There are signs up that'll let you know like which exhibits might not be best for your child. After the 9/11 museum, we went back and took the subway back to Times Square and had dinner at Junior's Cheesecake. Again, the food not that great. This is known for the cheesecake. The cheesecake was amazing. It's definitely a fun thing to do for dinner when you're in New York City. On our third day in New York City, we again started early. We had 9 o'clock reservations for Top of the Rock. This observation deck isn't as high as the Empire State Building, but I really like it because you can see the Empire State Building view in it, and I just thought it was a really great view. We then walked around Rockefeller Center after that. We went to the Nintendo store. We just did, kind of things in that area. Went to FAO Schwartz, which is right. And then we went over to the Lower East Side. We had a food tour, in the afternoon. We did it through free tours by foot, which, you basically pay what you want for the food tour, and what you think it's worth. We got to see, very, typical Lower East Side foods like Katz Delicatessen, Yona Schimmel's Knish, Russ and Daughters, Kozer's, bagels, and Bialys, just all sort. It was a really good food tour, and we were so full after that. And then in the evening, we did a sunset cruise, through the Hudson and East Rivers, and it was really amazing to see the sunset around the city and to also see the lights in the city as well. And this is something, a lot of these things are on our New York City pass. We did a New York City pass, which I think is recommended, definitely if you're staying a few days in New York. It's just something we definitely got our use out of it. We did our sunset cruise through Circle Cruises, which is definitely a brand you see all around the waters in New York City. On our last day in New York, we went to the American Museum of Natural History. This is more uptown in New York, so we took the subway to get there. The only thing, we had advanced reservations. We have to wait in this massive line with everyone else that has advanced reservations if you have the New York City pass. So we were waiting in line an hour. So their system to get in really wasn't very good. The museum was okay, but I think we spent more time getting in, waiting in line. At that point, we were just fed up and didn't spend as much time in the museum itself. I think it's something you need to do. I don't know if it's worth the line. We then walked around Central Park and it was just really a great, ending to our time in New York City. So that's our itinerary. And I hope that's helpful, for planning your time in New York City. We spent 4 days there. So, that was something, I think it's a good time, but also remember that it's New York City and there's no way you're going to fit everything into one visit. So a long weekend like that is good to get, I think otherwise it gets very overwhelming. Because it's a huge city, but you can get the basics if you stay busy during those 4 days.